too. Like the first 5-6 games, even though the numbers looked the same, the play didn't look the same. What he's doing now, it looks like what I anticipated them getting. An elite NBA player.
He's not in shape. He doesn't have to be. Dude has like 30%
He's in better
body
shape
fat.
than he was, but
he's
like blowing by guys now again.
He's a freak of nature, dude.
It's incredible. I mean, I can only imagine what kind of ass he is pulling right now. I mean, he's getting those scores girls probably. Back to his crib. Wherever he's living.
He's not shopping in scores. He's shopping in Love and Lust in Brooklyn, and he probably is in La Marina, which is not a strip club, but in Dykeman, you could find girls that look like strip clubs. He's living life right now. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the strip clubs. It's a boom economy all around.
He's our alpha male too. He is.
You think so?
100%.
I think it's KD.
He's always giving it to somebody. Now, sometimes he'll blame shit on poor Joe Harris when it's not his fault. But anytime he's involved in a play that doesn't go well, he's right on the other participant in it. He's the alpha male on this team, and I think he is best suited for that role. Kyrie is best when he has no pressure on him to lead or get other guys involved, and I think KD is just a little carefree for that. He's our pack leader for sure.
And in some ways, like Kyrie has a little bit of that too in him. Like I watch Kyrie yell at the younger guys, and it'll be his fault all the time.
He's just kind of a prick. That's really what it is. Like even like they asked, I think Shamit and Claxton about him, and they're like, Kyrie, he's going to tell you what he thinks.
He's got Mamba mentality.
Right. He's just kind of a bit of an asshole, and that's okay. It's in check. Yeah,
you need them, and it's not to the detriment of the team. And I don't think he's like. I thought he scared the shit out of Rodions and John, and like
it's possible.
I think those guys weren't ready to see the players that they played with in 2K in Eastern European countries come to life.
Kouros was lost. Like when he showed up to the first day of camp, he was like, "When the fuck did we get KD?" Like that guy had no idea. He had no idea there was a coaching change. Like
where's
he's the kind of dude.
Kenny? Where is he?
Yeah, like when in the playoffs, he's like, "Yo, why we keep playing the same fucking team every night?" Like he has no idea what's going on.
He's in a better place now. He's in a better place. Like that's my guy. But
Europe with Musa in a year.
Dude, man, like Moose is not even in the NBA anymore. Wow.
Yeah.
Das Vidania. Anyway, the Nets got some decisions to make. What do you make of this Detroit trade? Or Detroit supposedly, sending signals.
The only player I could think of that, and I'm being honest, like I don't follow Pistons roster. But the only player I could think of that makes sense for us that they would be willing to trade would be Plumlee.
I'm not giving up Dinwiddie for Plumlee.
Well, you got to look at it as you're not even giving up Dinwiddie anymore. You're giving up a contract.
Still, but there's other teams.
Communicated with him about next season. And if he's saying, look, I'm expecting X amount of dollars and X amount of years, and I'm going to test free agency, they know they're going to lose him.
Right.
So you have to temper your expectations. You're trading a player who's a pending free agent and can't help a team this year. So you have to keep those things in mind and temper your expectations on what a possible return is going to look like.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's the value of the player, right? There's a lot of teams that would love to have a Spencer Dinwiddie's bird rights. That has a lot of value. Orlando would love him. You know how many teams don't have a point guard?
Well, look, do I think they could do better than Mason Plumlee? Yes. I'm just saying in relation to the Pistons being interested, I can't think of anything else that they can offer the Nets that would make sense. I mean, again, I don't really know who's on their roster because they know they suck.
So give me Jeremy Grant.
Well, yeah, no shit, but they're not going to do that.
All right. So not Jeremy Grant. Let's see. I don't think they'd give up that kid Sadiq Bey. He looks really really good. He looks like a
Yeah, they're not trading him.
yeah.
I think
How about
that
Sekou Doumbia though?
Orlando's a team to keep an eye on, because that just they've gone as far as they can. I don't know
Right.
what there's no cap space left,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're always good enough to keep themselves out of the top of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
They're always picking in that 12 to 16 range,
They got a good little Thibodeau esque coach that
Right.
gets them at at the top of the NBA in defense every year.
They need a scoring guard. They throw out these guys like Bacon and shit. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? They need a ball handler, and I think Gordon's been hurt again.
Mm-hmm.
Vucevic has to be like, get me the hell out of here at some point, or get me more help. So I think a Gordon trade could be possible, but I feel
heard a rumor that I read a rumor that Gordon wasn't really hurt. That they quietly did a respectful drumming and said, we don't want you to get hurt and lose your value, and why don't you just chill out and cool your hamstrings?
I mean, look, that would be great. My only thing is I don't think they'd want a pending free agent player. I guess they would probably need his bird rights, but they turned down 2 draft picks for him over the offseason from Portland before Portland made the the trade for the guy from Houston. I can't remember his name right now.
Robert Covington.
Right, Covington, correct. So if they turn that down, are they going to take a expiring player who has no ties to your franchise, can't play for you this year, and there's no guarantee you keep him? So,
well, they could offer him the most money,
right?
And Spencer's going to be about the most money,
right?
And
as you should be.
And they could get him if they don't trade Gordon, who's expiring as well. They're gonna have to re-sign him or lose him. They're over the cap too. Like that's the other thing. Like they paid a few people.
An interesting trade partner would be the Knicks. Actually, it would never happen. But
give me the trade.
They could give us like Noel, maybe Burks, one of Knox or Frank, and one of their draft.
That's not enough. And you want to know why the Knicks?
Bro,
it wouldn't be the
free
same
agent.
For the Knicks. I understand that they could just sign him if that's the case.
Well, right, but for them, I guess they would say, we want to get him in the program. The Knicks would never. There's no reason to trade for him.
The Knicks can't do it. The Knicks can't do it. It's got to be a team that's in a weird place like Detroit or. Detroit. This was their player. They haven't been able to draft a point guard in ever. Yeah. They also traded for Delon Wright, who I thought was going to be good. He's not, and it's teams like that are kind of like in that in between period.
Yeah, where maybe Chicago.
Chicago's another team that had him at some point, but again, Chicago would have to send us something back. I take their 4. What's that kid's name?
Well, I would take Otto Porter if they can make the numbers work, but I think he makes too much money.
I don't want Otto Porter. Otto, you remember we used to get in Otto Porter arguments? Otto Porter.
Well, look, that was a stupid contract.
Yeah, it was a ridiculous contract. That contract was not good.
Almost destroyed the franchise.
You know what? That would have hurt. That would have hurt a lot if we had did that.
And
but
Tyler Johnson, these are role players. Even Thaddeus Young would help us.
I saw someone suggest that. I think that's a bad return for Dinwiddie.
We could do better.
We could do better than Thaddeus Young for Dinwiddie. I mean, like I was looking at Gordon's numbers the other day. I mean, Gordon is the dream not because he's such a great player. Like a lot of people mistake why I want Gordon. I don't want Gordon because he's so good, or I want Gordon because he does exactly the opposite of everything.
He doesn't need the ball. He doesn't need the ball. He can get putbacks. You know, he can block a shot on the weak side. He can rebound. You know, that's what we need.
Like you said, Brown is shooting 60%.
Right.
What would Gordon shoot in Brown's position on this team? And he locks up the guys that we need locked up in the playoffs. I think that makes so much sense for both teams, but it'll never happen.
Well, let's talk about Brown for a second, because the best defender on the team is Nicholas Claxton.
You think so already? You're ready to say that?
100%. Watch him tonight. Watch him guard on the perimeter. Nobody can stay. His combination of length and lateral ability.
Yeah.
They don't have anything like. That's why everybody. It's like I was arguing with my boy C. Whitey that on Twitter, because I've told him, like, I think RJ Barrett is just like a painfully average player.
I love fucking with C. Whitey. Shout out to C. Whitey. That's my guy.
Honestly, you should get him on. We should get him on one for maybe a cross over. They maybe talk a little Knicks with him.
Absolutely.
And he's like, you're excited about Nick Claxton, but RJ Barrett's painfully average. I'm like, it's not even about Claxton, like, as an individual entity. Again, going like to Gordon, for what the team needs, he has the skill set. And as soon as Harden figures him out and they get their cohesion down, the dunks and the layups that Brown are getting, he's going to get.
And he's going to convert them at a higher rate.
He's going to catch.
Right. And the other thing is, the Nets have never seen guys with small ball feet, but, traditional ball length. I'm dying to see Nick Claxton on the court with KD.
I tell you, I want him, Durant, Green as a 3-4-5 out on the floor at one point, because that gives us size, but it also gives us variety.
Right.
Now you want to switch. That's how you switch, because the only guy on the floor with Irving and Harden that you'd have to worry about it getting into a mismatch on size would be Kyrie.
Right.
And teams that are talented and have they seek him out. The Clippers did it. They put him in every screen and roll to get either George or Kawhi on him,
and they got easy buckets, and they're going to get easier buckets in the playoffs.
Right, because he's small. He's the guy that should be fighting over or under screens, and if you want to switch, do it with the rest of the guys, but you got to keep him on a player that he can match up with physically.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I've been saying for the longest. Like the original fantasy was to have Jared Allen, Durant and Nick on the court together. Just that much athleticism and speed is we don't usually play like that. Nets are not usually the most athletic team on the court, and you would see how teams like Atlanta would just out athlete us. They weren't really out skilling or better players or any of those things. They just would do the most simplest of drive to the basket and just hope to make a shot. And get easy layups, and we didn't have the athletes to match them at the time. And but I think the world of this kid Claxton. I don't think he's a future All-Star or anything like that. I actually am not sure of what his upside is because of his body. I think
his upside is he can be a good NBA starter. I think he could be on the level of like a LeVert. I think he has it. He hits his free throws. His shot looks good,
right?
And he's got a cocky attitude, and I like it. He looks like a Poindexter, but when you hear him talk, that kid is not in awe of Harden and these guys. He thinks he belongs out there. Like the kid on the Knicks. Quickly, like you can see it right away. The kid believes he belongs, and I think Claxton has that. And the way this game is going, teams are getting smaller. He is the perfect small ball five.
Yep.
That I really think can glue this team together over the next couple months.
I gotta send a shout out to my boy Bourne. Bourne is my friend that went to jail when I was in college, and he came home like when I had grown ass kids, and he came home from jail changed. He is now living a gay lifestyle, and we were talking on the stoop, and I was on Twitter, kind of like scrolling through something to show him a thing, and he was like, whoa, stop, God, I need to see that. I was like, you need to see what? and I didn't know what he was talking about. Yo,